Okay guys, so let's get started with Chapter 4. Chapter 4 is all about application software. So we're going to cover what application software is, what system software is, okay? We're going to talk about the differences between commercial software and open source software and describe some models used for software distribution. We'll explain the different options for actually purchasing software. Talk about how to install and uninstall software. Explain the considerations around the decision to upgrade your software. Explain how software licenses function. Categorize the types of application software used to enhance productivity and describe their uses and features. Summarize the types of software that large and small businesses use. Describe the uses and features of digital multimedia software. Describe the uses and features of digital audio software. Talk about the features of app creation software. And we'll categorize educational and reference software and then explain the features of those. So software refers to instructions that tell the computer what to do. All right, you cannot touch software. That's the big difference between hardware and software, or the main difference. And there's two basic categories of software. All right, so we have application software and we have system software. Application software is used to do tasks at home, school, and work. Okay, so examples would be, word processing, spreadsheets, those types of things. And system software helps run the computer and coordinate instructions between application software and the computer's hardware devices. Right? So there's two ways that software is created. We have proprietary and we have open source. Okay? Proprietary software is created by companies for profit and then sold to you. Okay? Open source software is software that's available free of charge and with very few licensing and copyright restrictions. So open source is really amazing. It's really booming right now. There's all kinds of awesome open source software out there. Okay, and we'll talk about some more later. And then there's various ways to distribute this software. So there's a local installation, okay? That's where you actually install right to your machine. There's software as a service, and we also have subscription. Normally, you can acquire your software through a brick and mortar store or by downloading it from the internet. All right. As a student, you can often find discounted software. So, just make sure that you have your student email address, and a lot of times they'll let you get a big discount on software. It's nice for us because we don't have to actually go out and purchase Microsoft Office. It's available to us through Office 365 via our email, which is awesome. And then I'm pretty sure if you want to, you can still take your laptop into ITS here on campus and have them install Microsoft Office on your machine for free, and that'll go throughout the whole time that you're a student here at Highlands. Right? We have freeware, which is software that you don't have to pay for. Okay, hence that's that clever name there. And then if you hear the term beta, okay, that's just basically a trial version that's released to help the company debug their software. So they'll let you have access to the newest version. They'll say it's in beta, and as a perk, you get to use this new software, but at the same time you help them out by reporting any sort of bugs that you encounter. So every single program has a set of system requirements that specify the minimum recommended standards. Okay. If you don't meet those system requirements, do not attempt to install the software because it's not going to be able to run on your machine. All right, so For example, you need a certain amount of memory, or you need a certain speed for your CPU, or you need a certain graphics card, different things like that you need to pay attention to. Make sure you're buying software for the correct operating system. Okay, those are system requirements. Before you actually install new software, it's wise to set up a restore point on your machine. Okay, and all that means is that once you install the software, if it doesn't run correctly, or it's interacting like in a negative way with other software on your machine, you'll be able to return your machine, sort of like going back in time to the restore point, to where it was before you installed that software. All right. A full installation. So this is when you copy all the most commonly used files to your hard drive. You just say, go ahead, you press next, 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 install, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you're letting the software company basically decide what's going to be installed on your machine, where it's going to be installed, if they have any add-ons, things like that. So I always choose custom installation when I'm installing software, just to see what I'm actually installing. Also, do I want all the features? Do I want those add-ons? Things like that. Where do I want my software to be installed? It's always wise, in my opinion, to do a custom installation. Okay. What else? Uninstalling software. Okay. If you've installed software on your machine, you used it for a while, and now you're like, okay, I'm done with this. I don't want it on here anymore. It's really important to go and properly uninstall the software. And the way to do that is to go to add or remove programs if you're using Windows. Go through there and then, select the software you want to uninstall and click uninstall. And this program, this is actually called a utility program that's available. What it does is it goes through and it removes every single file that's on your machine that's related to that software that you had installed. Okay, any changes that the software had made to your hard drive, anything like that, all of that stuff is restored back to how it was before you installed the software. So don't just drag the icon into your trash can on your desktop. That's not going to do the job. You're still going to have files all over, in places you're not going to be aware of. You're still going to have changes made to your machine that you aren't aware of. So make sure you uninstall properly in order to get rid of the whole package. Okay. And then we have recovery drive on here. So creating a recovery drive helps to recover from a computer crash. So if your computer crashes, you lose a bunch of stuff. If you have this recovery drive, you can just sort of, again, go back to this point in time to before your computer crashed. So various ways to do that. You can, actually burn it onto a disk. You can sort of copy your whole, you can back up everything on your machine onto your external hard drive, okay, and it's sort of like a recovery drive. So it takes you back to before this negative thing happened. If you're using software as a service, so what software as a service is it's a business term that relates to tech. And basically you are paying a company to use their software, okay, and not in the way that we usually do, where you buy the disc or download it. You're paying to use their software, and so they are in charge of upkeep, upgrades, updates, okay. Those aren't going to be required if you're using software as a service, because the company that you're paying is actually going to be taking care of that. So you don't have to worry about, installing that kind of stuff. Upgrading your software, you got to think about things. Is it cost effective? Do you really need the latest version of Microsoft Office? I think they're coming out with Office 19. Okay. I'm still using Office 13, and I have zero problems with it. Okay. I can still write papers. I can still do spreadsheets. I can still make flyers. I can still do all the kinds of things that we'll probably be able to do in Office 19. Okay? If they want to give it to me for free, yeah, heck yeah, I'm going to take it. But I'm not going to run out and buy it. There's no need for that. But if you feel that you do need the latest software, then by all means, you do your thing. But, don't feel like you have to have the latest software. Okay? The one nice thing that vendors do is make new versions of software what we call backwards compatible. And what that means is that the new versions can open files that have been created with the older versions. So even like I said, using Microsoft Office 13, okay, yes, it's still backwards compatible. I could open versions of documents that were made in the early 2000s, and maybe some functionality's gone, or maybe some of the formatting might change a little, but I can still open them. So that's one thing that's very nice. Thank you, software companies, is making it backwards compatible, because it would be ridiculous, right? If you upgrade to the newest version of, and again, I'm just using Office as my example here. You upgrade to the latest version, and then you couldn't open any files that you created with any older versions, okay? That would be nonsense, right? That would be, we'd lose a tremendous amount of work, and so they really don't have a choice but to make it backwards compatible. Software licenses, okay? Usually these are called EULAs, so End User License Agreement. And all it is really an agreement between you, the user, and your software company, right? So usually the agreement just states who the ultimate owner of the software is. Surprise, it's not you, okay? It's a software company. It lists under what circumstances copies of the software can be made. Okay, usually you can't make very many copies, especially when you're dealing with the proprietary software. Okay. But it'll tell you, okay, maybe you bought the version where you can install it on 3 of your machines. So it'll let you know all of that stuff here in your software license. Okay. And finally, it'll basically state what, if any, warranty actually comes with the software. Okay. Let's see what else. Copyleft, you might hear that term. All that is a concept of redistributing modified open source software, okay, under the same terms as the original software. So what the heck does that mean? Basically, when you're dealing with open source software, first of all, it's free, which is super. Second of all, the code is usually freely available to anyone who wants it. So if you feel like dabbling in some code, okay, so you can download this open source software, and then you have access to the code, and so you can go in and make the software fit your needs exactly. Okay, if you then redistribute that, you upload it to the internet, and so other people can use it too, because that's part of open source, sort of like the guide. Okay, if you do anything, you upload it. It does not become yours. You're just sort of, it's like doing things for the social good, so you're helping other people too. Okay, you upload it, and you put it back up under the same terms as the original software. So usually open source software is under something called the Creative Commons licensing, which means that it's free, anyone can use it, anyone can edit it, but when you agree to use that software, you're also agreeing to keep it free, to keep the same thing happening. So you're sort of what's that term? Like paying it forward in a way. Okay?